o'clock hour. You and I are in agreement, as it turns out. Enough of this patty cake assistant coach or, I'm going to go get the offensive coordinator at William and Mary. He's really showing some promise.
Yeah.
This is Washington football. And I don't know if I've ever been around a more provincial group of fans that are more proud of their program and more boastful about the standard that they hold themselves to. And so if this is the case, and if you want to start acting like a big boy again, then act like a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
Go after some big names here. Look, I'm not sitting here taking a shot at the decision. I like the decision to go to Jimmy Lake. The defense was going really well, and let's face it, I mean, I would have never thought that Jimmy Lake was going to have player issues, not being able to get along with his players. I thought that was the thing that he brought to the table.
Yeah, they seem to love him.
Yeah, a year and a half ago, and boy, things change, I guess, when you become the boss. Because that seems to be the biggest issue and the biggest reason why he's fired. He can't get along with his players right now. But as you get ready to kind of clear the decks and swallow your pride, and obviously we made the wrong decision there, and the Jimmy Lake era did not turn out well. As you get to now start from scratch, go get somebody that knows how to score points.
Yeah, please.
That's what's going to speak to recruits. That's what's going to speak to your fan base. Go get somebody out there that can put some points on the board. Enough of what we've seen in the last year and a half of trying to win with defense. It's the last remaining entity that's trying to win with defense right now at college or pro level, it feels like.
Well, yeah, and get somebody with a big name. We are not a small program. We need somebody that when they say this is who we've hired, or you start hearing the rumblings of who they're talking to, I want my jaw to drop. I want to be like, wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Sean McVay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the Rams don't need him. It's fine.
And I'm saying, obviously you're not going to go after him, but I'm with you. Like, I used to fight this down in Tempe when I was in Phoenix, and coaching changes, coaching hires would come up, and they would be like, there's this guy who's the special teams coach at Miami of Ohio. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Go get Spurrier. Like, Spurrier was a hot name. That's how long ago this was.
Yeah.
Go get somebody of note, and Washington's got an even greater foundation to stand on than what ASU did. If you want to talk big, act big.
That's the truth. Yeah. And it's just so frustrating that we don't have that mentality.
Jimmy, this is obviously a heated rivalry. How do you explain what happened after the game, though? It seemed like there was maybe some pushing and shoving between the teams. What did you see there? What's your assessment?
Yeah, I think, throughout the whole game, and this is something that we talked about with our team, and there was a lot of chipping going back and forth. Obviously a rival game, and during the game that was happening, and then all I saw was those guys chipping, 18 to 22-year-olds, and they were talking trash back and forth. I didn't hear what they were saying, but our staff and their staff did a good job of separating the guys before anything seriously escalated.
I mean, in the first half, you were seen on the sideline striking your own player. What were you thinking?
No, so Roque, again, just like Mike just mentioned, the guys were chipping back and forth, and one of our players, Roque, was up in a Oregon defender's face, and I went in to separate them and push him back, and then after that, we settled down a little bit, and that was our deal all week long, was we got to have poise. We knew this was going to be a very heated matchup, and there was going to be a lot of trash talking. And when we stepped in there, we were glad that a penalty wasn't thrown on our guys to put us back even further on that kickoff return.
Regret striking him?
I separated him. I didn't strike him. I separated him.
Jimmy Lake officially became the head coach of the University of Washington in 2020 by virtue of Chris Peterson announcing in December of 2019 that he will step down after the season. He stated that Lake would be his successor. During his short tenure, the Huskies went 7-6. In 2020, the team posted a 3-1 record in the COVID-19 condensed 2020 season with wins over Oregon State, Arizona, and Utah. The only loss was to Stanford, and both games against Cal and Oregon were canceled. Despite such, the 3-1 record gave Washington fans a sense of optimism that the 2021 season will be good. The season didn't start off well with an opening season loss to FCS foe Montana, followed by a blowout loss to Michigan. The team then started to show signs of life in a 6-game stretch where they went 4-2, with the 2 losses being decided by a touchdown or less. However, the tide started to turn when the team lost to Oregon, a game which featured Lake hitting a player on the face mask and pushing him in order to de-escalate a confrontation from the opposing team. The media viewed such as a punch. However, if you look closely to the video, it was more so the coach slapping the player's face mask, yelling at him to get back. Regardless of such action, the player was still hit, which made some viewers uncomfortable, while others, such as the Seattle media, saw this as an opportunity to use this as a chance to get Lake out of Washington. As Lake received a 1-game suspension for his action on the player, media members in the area worked overtime resurfacing reports and data to create a narrative that the program was in a terrible state. Former star quarterback, now college football analyst Brock Hewart was a key figure in strengthening the media's narrative that a coaching change was necessary.
So, what happened with Jimmy Lake on Saturday?
Lost his mind, didn't he?
Well, it felt like he was
snapped.
trying to.
He
Yeah,
snapped.
he snapped because he put so much pressure on himself and his team, and then he couldn't live up to it because they didn't have the talent around him to do it.
Yeah, it just continues to just kind of baffle me, Mike. It's baffled me all season long that they make football so hard, but they just make football so darn difficult. I mean, who are your best players, Mike? Who are the best players on the Husky team right now? I would contend it's your 2 corners and your 2 receivers, and they don't play to any of their strengths. They don't take shots. They're not aggressive. They let defenses just sit on you and dictate to you, and then defensively, you give up 300 and some yards rushing again. You're one of the 20 of the worst rush defense in America. All of it. It's just, I don't know, man. It's been confusing to me since day one, and we're 9 games in. They're 4-5, exactly where they should be. Yeah, and he didn't respond on the field. That's where you respond. Tough guy is not chirping. Tough guy is not after a game trying to be physical. Tough guy is responding during the 60 minutes on the field. It is shutting their run game down. It's hitting them in the mouth. It is being the aggressor. You're not the aggressor. You were never the aggressor at all. You haven't really been all season long. And yeah, I think it was just a total loss of poise and composure on the sideline.
Determined to stir anger in the fan base, reports revived Lake's November 1st comment that arch nemesis Oregon is not a recruiting rival to the school. Instead, schools with more academic prowess such as Stanford or Notre Dame are more in their ballpark. Such statement is an honest but harsh reality that fans nor media members are willing to accept. Washington media and fans are still reminiscent of their 2016 college football playoff berth, a Peach Bowl game where they lost to Alabama 24-7. However, it was more than just a mere playoff game. Not only was this the Huskies' first ever playoff appearance, this game also marked the first time a Pac-12 school ever made the college football playoff. So even though they lost, history was made and prestige was added to the program, which earned it the right as a prominent football program against the likes of USC and arch rival Oregon. However, Things have changed since that glorious 2016 season for the Washington faithful. Oregon has quickly returned back to being the best of the West and are fully locked in on football with support from Nike founder and Oregon alum Phil Knight. Seattle media and Husky faithful heavily feared an Oregon supremacy of the West similar to that of the Chip Kelly era. Thus, an alleged hitting of the face to a player seemed as the opportune time to coerce the university to make a change. Media members are now happily discussing who could be the next coach as they desire one who is very popular. The question, however, is who is willing to coach at a school that's having to recruit against a giant such as Nike. Schools ranked low in the U.S. News and World Report's best global university rankings tend to be good on the football field, while the higher ranked schools tend not to be. Is the University of Washington willing to sacrifice its academic prestige for football popularity? As the Seattle media members celebrate their successful takedown of Lake, coaches around the country have taken note. And some would question if such defamation of character would take place to self during heated moments of a rivalry game. According to the Seattle media, the firing of Lake was justified, but such justification may not lead to a coach of their desire. Because in the college football world, the only two schools that are relevant to most in the West Coast are Phil Knight's Oregon and Hollywood's USC. As one former coach stated, Washington is viewed with the likes of Stanford and Notre Dame.